Go Jackets.
What is going on, everyone? And welcome to WreckTalk. So, I'm kind of late this week getting out the preview video, but honestly, this is the first time since Brent Key has been the coach that I have not been excited about seeing Tech going into a game. That loss last week just took it out of me as far as doing videos and getting excited for a team. And yeah, I went on the Scoop on the U channel. What was it, night before last? And they asked me, like, well, what is the media saying coming into this game? I'm like, honestly, they're not saying anything about Miami. Like, all of the discussion is about the change in DC or the loss last week, and now the loss of our top recruit in the 2024 class, C.J. Jackson, decommitted yesterday. C-Dog put out a really good video discussing that. And he's right. You can't just lay an egg against a team like Bowling Green and think that people are going to want to come play for you. So that's why this game is important. This is why the rest of the season is very important. You've got to start showing people something, right? It's like in the Matrix, he's beginning to believe. We got to get to the point where we can believe in something again as Tech fans. So with that being said, let's look at what Miami does well offensively and defensively. Maybe we can put our heads together and formulate some kind of game plan. All right, so the clips that I pulled are all from the Texas A&M game because that's the most quality opponent they've had up to this point. And first, let me say I really like what Miami does on offense. I think they have a very balanced approach, meaning there's not really one thing you can key on, like it's not like you can just take one thing away and that's like 60% of their offense or something. They can throw the deep ball, they can throw the short stuff. They're good at play action. They have 3 or 4 running backs that are all very good. They've got 3 wide receivers that are very, very good. Tyler Van Dyke's good. So if we're going to have some kind of decent showing defensively against them, we're going to have to be disciplined and balanced as far as what we're doing. Now on this play, they're going to run the crossing route, which should look familiar to Tech fans, because this is basically what Bowling Green did to us all day a week ago. So he's going to come across. This is where the ball is going to end up going to this cat right here. And then all 3 of the other guys, I don't think there's any threat of them getting the ball. The key here, there's 2 keys. 7 is gonna need to rub one of these guys, meaning get in their way, prevent them, and really he wants to rub this cornerback coming across in man to get some separation for their wide receiver. Now, probably the most important thing here, and I think this is Paris Jr., number 21 for them, very good running back. Him and number 2, I forget his name, are both great running backs. This guy's going to blitz. I forget if it's this guy or this guy's going to blitz. Another thing that Miami does that I really like is they will sacrifice a route runner or even a dump off for a pass blocker in their running back. So let's take a look. So first thing, what even allows this play to happen? Pay attention here, and the running back picking up the blitzer. They're rushing more than Miami has to block, basically. 21 picks up a really nice block there goes and attacks the rusher. All right. So these two are going to cross. I want you to look at number 7 here. All he's trying to do is get in the way. Does a good job. Get separation. Easy, wide open throw. Now, they blitzed both their linebackers here, but generally speaking, and this is what's terrifying for Tech fans, you beat this with really good linebacker play. Being in good spots at linebacker, recognizing that this is the passing pattern they're running against you. All right. What was the next thing I wanted to look at? All right. I don't know if it was the next play. I think it was the play after next. Two other plays. So now A&M keying down. They're actually going to be in a cover 3 or a cover 1. I can't tell. He'll come up and kind of have this spot right here. These guys are going to bail with their man. He's going to have a deep third. And notice the 2-back set. I think one of these guys will go out as on a dump off route. Other guy's just going to be a pass blocker, which again I like. It doesn't matter how wide open someone is or how great the route is or how genius the play call is if you can't get the pass off. So they'll have a pass blocker in. Really good picking up this block here. Again, he's going to have basically man-on-man on the outside here. And his wide receiver is going to win that. I mean, he's got a yard of separation. And I'll tell you this, Tyler Van Dyke is incredibly accurate. Big play touchdown for Miami. So now I'm saying we need to, on defense, do 2 things that Tech has not really done well up to this point in the year. Be disciplined at linebacker, don't get out of position, and we need to either have really good man-on-man coverage or really smart, I guess, zone coverage. But if we don't get those things, then it's going to be a long night. Now, I'll say this. Miami runs a lot of different types of screens, and they do run a lot of screens. So initially I thought Tech's game plan needed to be just blitz, 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 aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. I don't think that's going to work, and for this reason. So what is a screen? Well, we're basically going to let all of these guys through. So you bump that guy, and then you go peel off and basically find someone downfield to block. That's what's going to happen with these guys. The minute you become the greatest pass rusher the world has ever seen, it's a screen. So I think this is Restrepo is his name. He's just going to come back, get the ball. A lot of times this is a tunnel screen. On a tunnel screen, you bend the ball back toward the middle of the field. He actually is going to bend it back to the outside. And really headsy athletic play by Van Dyke. He has to sidewind Randy Johnson sidearm this ball to even get it to Restrepo. Picks up some good blocks. Missed tackle. By the way, As far as athletes that can make you miss a tackle, this will be the most talented team we've faced this year. They've got 3 wide receivers that all, if you can't tackle, will make you pay every time. And they've got, no lie, 4 running backs that can do that as well. So that's thing number 3 on Tech defense. If you can't tackle, then there's no hope. I mean, there's just no hope. We will not be able to score enough points no matter how much we can get going on offense if we can't tackle. Now, they also use motion and have very good spacing, like with their wide receivers and routes. So they're going to motion this guy down. Which naturally twists kind of the defense or slides the linebackers toward that motion, right? And what I've seen, this gives Miami really advantageous matchups. Like if you can get one of these 3 stud wide receivers on a little bit of a lead-footed linebacker, that's a win. I think you get 2 curls on the backside here. He tries and dumps it off to the running back. He really should. He had a wide open lane here. And even though this wasn't a successful play for Miami, I wanted to show it just to show just kind of how good their spacing is. Like they even get a wheel going on the bottom of the screen here. Again, he should have gone to Restrepo. End up getting blown up, I think, for a slight loss here. But that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to be very disciplined on defense. And it's not just going to be a thing where we can blitz. I think we're going to have to man up, bow our backs and man up, and pick our spots to come with a lot of pressure. Defensively, also very good. We've talked about stunting, so they do get creative with their stunts. Look at that. I mean, this is tough for a lineman. So this guy, he's going to come upfield, then kind of stop and come back across the middle. Oop. Ton of pressure. Ends up being PI here, but this defense does a really, number one, they're very aggressive. Number two, they're very creative with how they can get pressure on a quarterback, and sometimes even the threat of pressure disrupting the quarterback. Because they'll often kind of stalk up with linebackers. They might show they're going to blitz everyone, like a jailhouse blitz, and not blitz anyone. So it's going to hurt to have. It seems like Jordan Williams is going to be out. That's going to hurt. But, we're going to have, or I guess not but, we're going to have probably the best offensive line performance of the year if we want to keep pace with them with our own offense. Let's take a look at the sack. Don't quite remember what happened on this play. Yeah, speaking of aggressive, sometimes they'll just come at you and he shows like he's going to come up the middle. He ends up bending to the outside. Kind of what I'm talking about with the creative pass rushing. You can beat this, though. I'm not saying it's easy. If they're just going to come with a lot of pressure, you got to find somewhere to go with the football, right? Like they show they're going to blitz everyone. They actually don't. They do get a ton of pressure, and he dumps it off to the running back. Big play for A&M. So I usually will go through a little bit more film. I don't like. There's not a ton to talk about here, but let's talk about what do I think Tech's game plan should be. Let's go offensively first. Offensively, I think we're going to have to be as aggressive as their defense likes to be. And then it's just going to come down to who can execute off that aggression better. What that means to me for our offense is taking shots downfield. We're going to have to win matchups with like Singleton Jr., Dominique Blaylock. I would love to see Christian Leary win some matchups downfield. It would be great if we could kind of shock them a little bit to start the game. You know, let's say we win the toss. We tend to take the ball, even when we win the toss. So most teams defer, which means it's likely we'll come out with the ball anyway. If we can get up 10, 14 to nothing early, let's say in the first 6 minutes of the game, let the shock set in for them. I think that would be good. And that's going to require taking chances, taking shots downfield. Other thing is we're going to have to screen. And I don't want to – I know a lot of people think that throw that we do on the outside's a screen. To me, a screen is when you purposely don't block somebody to block another guy. Like you let the guy right in front of you go to go block someone downfield. That's what a screen is. So I don't want to see this hitch to the outside. I want to see straight screens to running backs up the middle of the field, which is where the pressure is going to be coming from. So threat downfield, screens on offense, I think, are going to be the key. I mean, obviously you have to do other things well, so you got to be able to run the ball. But I think those two things. Defensively, I think, one, discipline, so not getting out of position. Our linebackers are going to have to step up and do something we haven't seen them do up to this point this year. You're going to have to fill gaps. You're going to have to make the right read, identify where the ball is, and cover well. So key one on defense, linebacker play has to be best we've seen all year. Two, we're going to have to probably man up and blitz someone every play and get pressure. Now, here's the thing. When you blitz and you don't get to the quarterback, it tends to bite you. So we're going to have to pick our spots with that. But I think we're going to have to shut the run down and just trust that our secondary can break up some passes. So that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, it's not been fun to be a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket this past week. I know C-Dog said in his video he's pissed. He's still pissed, and so am I. Like, you know, we get on here and we do YouTube, and you know, Tech lays an egg like that. I mean, what can we say? I would have loved to have been able to trash talk Miami this week, but there's no point in it. Because they're just going to say, you lost to Bowling Green last week, and what is my response going to be? So I hope you guys are having a great Friday. And if no one's told you, WreckTalk loved you. Y'all have a good one.